Sure, I'll start. See, so today we have to discuss laws of chemical combination. Laws of chemical combination. Last time we have discussed something about this law. What was that? See, if you make any dish in a kitchen, so every dish has some ingredients, right? Every dish has some ingredients, and if you go to a YouTube channel, they will give you a fixed proportion also. This much sugar is to be added, and then this much these fruits should be added, and this much milk is there. So they will give you a composition also, but and ingredients also, right? But if you change some of the ingredients, then that thing does not changes, right? Custard is there. If you use another fruit instead of what they have said, it will remain custard. If you change the composition of the ingredients, right? Proportion in which the ingredients are mixed. If you change that, then also that it will remain the same thing, right? If you increase a spoon of sugar, then it will remain custard only. So their fixed proportion like thing, fixed ingredients are not there. But in chemical compounds, we have some laws. We have some laws. It's not like in water we can add water may have hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen also. Whatever sample of water you collect from wherever you are, it will contain only oxygen and hydrogen, right? And that too in fixed proportion. So similarly, there are certain laws, right? Those laws are known as laws of chemical combination. So let me start with the first law, but a simple law of conservation of mass. Law of conservation of mass. This is first law. So it's very easy, simple law. Law of conservation of mass. See, from childhood itself, we had at least I had a little belief. If I take some ice and convert it into water, right? If I take some ice and convert the same thing into water, mass of water would be lesser. And other than this, I had believed if this was converted to steam, this was converted to steam, this would be lighter again if it is converted to steam. Right? The same amount of water, if it's converted to steam, the mass of steam form would be lesser. So this is what I used to think. Obviously, when I was kid, so we have a belief that steam is lighter than water. Water is lighter than ice, just because of their states. Steam is in vapor phase, and water is in liquid phase, and ice is in solid phase. But it is not true. If m gram of ice, if m gram of ice, yeah, m kgs of ice is completely melted to water without any loss, then it will give m kg of water. And if it is converted to steam, and no steam is allowed to escape in atmosphere, then it will give m kg of steam, right? So mass does not changes. Mass does not changes. So here comes the statement of the law. The law says matter can neither be created nor be destroyed, or matter is neither created nor destroyed in any physical or chemical chain. What does the statement? In a physical or chemical change, matter is neither created, matter is neither created nor destroyed. That is total mass of substances before the change is same as total mass of substances after the change. So this is what I mean to say is law of conservation of mass. So law of conservation of mass is in any physical or chemical change, matter is neither created nor destroyed. Means what? Whatever is the total mass of the substances before the change takes place is same as the total mass of the substance after the change takes place. Right? For example, as I said, if you take some water, आप कुछ water ले लो, उसको closed pipe से ऐसा लेके जाओ एक steam chamber में. Suppose this is steam chamber. So initially, mass of whatever is the mass of water alone when there was no steam, then heated steam will be formed. This chamber now contains steam. So at any instant, the total mass of this two chambers will remain same. धीरे धीरे steam side का mass बढ़ता जाएगा और इस side का mass कम होता जाएगा, but total mass will remain same. Right? Even if entire water is converted to steam, then also the total mass of this apparatus will remain same. So this is one of the examples which demonstrate law of conservation of mass in physical change. Right? Similarly, an experiment was conducted. There's a H-shaped tube. We call it Landau tube after the name of the scientist who verified it. So he took H-shaped tube, and in the two limbs he took different solutions. In this limb he took sodium chloride NaCl solution, and here it took silver nitrate solution AgNO3. Then weighed it and put a cork laga diya so that nothing escapes. Right? And then what he did? He had mixed the two solutions. So once the two solutions were mixed, a white precipitate is formed in both the tubes. A white precipitate is formed, which is actually of silver chloride. Right? White precipitate. I'll not rest silver chloride, right? White precipitate. That means some chemical change has taken place. Right? Composition has changed. I observe, I see new, fresh white precipitate in both the tubes. That means some chemical change has taken place. Right? Composition has changed. Some chemical process has, some chemical change has occurred. Then this tube was weighed again. So after the chemical change, this tube was weighed again, and they found the mass remains same. So mass remains same in case of a physical change as well as in case of a chemical change. तो कोई भी केस होगा, total mass remains same. Clear है?
Yes, sir.
Now, to demonstrate this, let me give some examples. Example है, समझ लो question है, question के form में कर लेते हैं. बड़ा आसान सा law है ये. So suppose 32 gram of methane is burned in presence with 128 gram of oxygen. The 88 gram of carbon dioxide is formed. Carbon dioxide is formed, and 2 gram of water vapor. So question is, does it confirms? Does this data confirms लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास। ऐसे छोटे छोटे क्वेश्चन स्कूल एग्जाम में पूछते हैं, नॉट वेरी डिफिकल्ट बट ठीक है, स्कूल एग्जाम्स में पूछते हैं। एक क्वेश्चन तो आपके इस टॉपिक से पक्का रहेगा, लॉ ऑफ केमिकल कॉम्बिनेशन से। नहीं इससे आया तो दूसरे लॉ से आएगा, लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास से नहीं आया तो डेफिनेट से आएगा, डेफिनेट प्रोपोर्शन, मल्टीपल प्रोपोर्शन, रेसिप्रोकल प्रोपोर्शन, गे-लुसाक्स लॉ। तो किसी ना किसी लॉ से वो जरूर पूछेंगे, राइट। तो देखो जरा कंफर्म करके कर, रिएक्टेंट साइड में वी हैव मीथेन प्लस प्लस क्या है, सॉरी ऑक्सीजन। द टोटल मास इज 32 प्लस 128, दैट इज 160 ग्राम। And product side में they claim only two things are formed. One is carbon dioxide and water. So their masses are 88 and 72. So the total is again 160. So total mass before the chemical change, total mass of the substances taken before the chemical change is same as the total mass of the substances formed after the change, right? Okay, let me check another question. बड़ा आसान सा क्वेश्चन है एक और, इसमें ज्यादा डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन होते हैं एक्चुअली, नेक्स्ट टॉपिक में मिलेंगे। करो दो।
7 gram of hydrogen is not used.
7 gram of hydrogen is left, right? Reason, total mass before the chemical change should be same as total mass after the chemical change. So before the chemical change has taken place, that is ammonia is formed, we have taken 14 gram of nitrogen and 10 gram of hydrogen. So total was 24 gram, right, of the mixture. Then ammonia formed as 17 gram. So whereas the remaining 7 gram, so 7 gram hydrogen must be left. I don't know what is formula for ammonia or whatever, but I'm sure if it, if ammonia is formed, then 7 gram of hydrogen must be left, right? And so our first answer is 7 gram. Then next question is, using definition of compound, find ratio by mass in which nitrogen and hydrogen combine in ammonia. So if you remember, we have seen a definition of compound. Compound is formed by two or more than two elements combined in a definite ratio by weight or by mass. ये statement हमने पढ़ा था compound formation में, सर compound के definition में। तो वो definition use करो और बताओ आपके nitrogen hydrogen combine in which ratio to form ammonia.
14/3.
14:3 ratio से 14 ग्राम आपका नाइट्रोजन यूज हुआ है राइट 14 ग्राम नाइट्रोजन यूज हुआ है एंड इट्स रिटन दैट नाइट्रोजन इज कंप्लीटली यूज्ड, राइट। तो 14 ग्राम नाइट्रोजन और सिर्फ 3 ही ग्राम आपका हाइड्रोजन कंज्यूम हुआ है, 3 ग्राम ऑफ हाइड्रोजन इज कंज्यूम्ड, राइट। So the ratio in which they combine is 14:3, right? So the ratio in which nitrogen and hydrogen combine to form ammonia is 14:3. Okay, तो बड़ा आसान सजा। इसी से एक और लॉ बना है, POAC बोलते हैं, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बहुत डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चंस सॉल्व होते हैं इससे, न्यूमेरिकल्स बाद में आएंगे, बट ये लॉ अभी बता सकता हूँ मैं इसको। प्रिंसिपल ऑफ एटॉमिक कंजर्वेशन, प्रिंसिपल ऑफ एटॉमिक कंजर्वेशन। तो ये देर में आएगा थोड़ा इसका एप्लीकेशन, बट सिंस इट इज समझो डिराइव फ्रॉम दिस लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास ओनली, इसके लिए अभी इसको लिख देते हैं हम लोग। So principle of atomic conservation, right? See, in any chemical chain, not physical chain, this is for chemical chain. In any chemical change, what we see is new substances are formed, right? For example, nitrogen and hydrogen you mix, so a new substance, that is ammonia, is formed. So in any chemical change, matter is neither created nor destroyed, right? But it changes its form of the substance changes, right? Earlier समझो water, तो hydrogen and oxygen रहता है, the new form is H2O, right? So water is formed. So form of the substance may change, right, in a chemical change, but number of atoms of any substance present before the chemical change, that is on reactant side, will be same as the total number of atoms of the same substance on the प्रोडक्ट साइड। तो क्या स्टेटमेंट है, एटम्स मॉलिक्यूल्स कंजर्व नहीं रहेंगे, मॉलिक्यूल्स बदल जाएंगे, राइट। इफ यू सी नाइट्रोजन प्लस हाइड्रोजन गिव्स अमोनिया, राइट। तो नंबर ऑफ मॉलिक्यूल्स विल चेंज, नाइट्रोजन विल रिड्यूस, अभी इसमें थोड़ा हाइड्रोजन बचा हुआ है, अमोनिया। बट इफ यू टॉक ऑफ एटम्स, नाइट्रोजन के एटम्स उतने ही रहेंगे, राइट। इफ यू काउंट, सी नाइट्रोजन गायब, हाइड्रोजन गायब, बट अगर नाइट्रोजन के एटम्स देखो आप, 2 एटम है यहाँ पे भी 2 एटम है नाइट्रोजन का, हाइड्रोजन के 6 एटम्स आते हैं, तो हाइड्रोजन के 6 एटम्स आते हैं। तो उसको बोलते हैं प्रिंसिपल ऑफ एटॉमिक कंजर्वेशन, राइट। बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट सा लॉ होता है, जेई में क्वेश्चंस भी आए हुए हैं कई इसके ऊपर, POAC बोलते हैं शॉर्ट फॉर्म में। हम भी करेंगे क्वेश्चंस मोल कॉन्सेप्ट समझने के बाद। तो वहां पे क्या लिखा हुआ, केमिकल चेंज होगा, सब्सटेंस का फॉर्म चेंज हो जाएगा, बट नंबर ऑफ एटम्स ऑफ एनी सब्सटेंस बिफोर द केमिकल चेंज इज सेम एज द टोटल नंबर ऑफ एटम्स ऑफ द सेम सब्सटेंस आफ्टर द केमिकल चेंज। तो स्टेटमेंट लिखूंगा मैं, इन एनी केमिकल चेंज, इन एनी केमिकल चेंज form of substance changes, form of substance changes, however total number of atoms, तो atoms destroy नहीं होते, total number of atoms before the change, sorry, total number of atoms of any substance, not only total number of atoms, but atoms of any substance also, total number of atoms of any substance before the change is same as number of atoms of same substance after the change. So, what's the story? In any chemical chain, form of substance changes, right? एक फॉर्म से दूसरे फॉर्म में चला जाएगा। अभी यहाँ नाइट्रोजन हाइड्रोजन है, उधर जाके अमोनिया फॉर्म हो गया। बट अगर आप एटम्स की बात करो, तो टोटल नंबर ऑफ एटम्स ऑफ एनी सब्सटेंस let it be nitrogen, let it be hydrogen, let it be ammonia, nitrogen, hydrogen will remain same. Atoms किसी के भी same रहेंगे, right? So this is what we say is principle of atomic conservation. इसके ऊपर कुछ न्यूमेरिकल्स भी बाद में हम लोग करेंगे, right? Then exception in this law. See, all of us know Einstein has given a relation E is equal to mc square, right? Einstein mass energy relationship we all know. Mass energy relation. What's written there? If you give me some mass, ना आप मेरे को कुछ mass लाके देखो, तो I can completely convert it into energy. ये mass disappear हो जाएगा, right? ये mass disappear हो जाएगा और इसके equivalent form of energy, equivalent form of energy. This is mass, right? तो कुछ ऐसा जादू जैसा होगा कि ये मास डिसअपियर हो जाएगा एंड उसके बदले, उस मास के बदले आपका एनर्जी अपीयर हो जाएगी. तो मास कैन बी कंप्लीटली कन्वर्टेड इनटू एनर्जी. आइंस्टाइन ने प्रूफ किया था, एक फॉर्मूला भी दिया था, इनफैक्ट सबने पढ़ा होगा, E is equal to mc square, right? That means what? Mass can be completely converted into energy. And vice versa. If you give me some amount of energy, I can completely convert it into mass, right? Obviously, we'll not go after the process कि ऐसा कुछ process है क्या जिससे हम कर सके. So it's not simple, but to tell, मतलब concept explain करने के लिए बताना कि आइंस्टाइन सेज अगर आप मुझे कुछ मास दोगे, 1 ग्राम, 10 ग्राम, 100 ग्राम, 1 केजी, 2 केजी, किसी भी चीज, whatever substance it is, I can convert it into energy, right? And that energy liberated is related to the mass consumed by formula E is equal to mc square. That means, और ये होता कौन सी जगह पे है? Mostly will study it in nuclear changes. Nuclear reactions होते हैं कुछ जो न्यूक्लियस को बदल देते हैं, right? तो न्यूक्लियर रिएक्शंस होते हैं, there this is very significant. केमिकल चेंजेस में ये चीज नहीं एप्लीकेबल है, बट न्यूक्लियर रिएक्शंस में, केमिकल रिएक्शंस में नहीं, बट न्यूक्लियर रिएक्शंस में दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आइंस्टाइन्स मास एनर्जी रिलेशनशिप. सो न्यूक्लियर रिएक्शंस में इट इज सीन कि मास इज कंज्यूम्ड और मास इज क्रिएटेड. जैसा हमने पढ़ा लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास में कि मैटर इज नीदर क्रिएटेड नॉर बी डिस्ट्रॉयड, बट न्यूक्लियर रिएक्शन में मास डिसअपियर होता है, मास कंज्यूम हो जाता है, उसके बदले कुछ एनर्जी आ जाती है, या कभी कभी एनर्जी कम हो जाती है, उसके बदले कुछ मास आ जाता है, राइट? सो दिस इज वन ऑफ एक्सेप्शंस ऑफ लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास. बट यस, जब तक केमिकल चेंजेस और फिजिकल चेंजेस की बात हो रही है, तब तक हमारा लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास वर्क्स परफेक्टली फाइन. जब न्यूक्लियर रिएक्शंस आ जाते हैं तभी ये लॉ फेल हो जाता है, एंड फिर उसके लिए वहां पे एक मॉडिफाइड लॉ भी लिखा हुआ है. If you read some books, good books, तो उसमें modified law भी लिखा हुआ है. तो total of mass and energy before any change, mass and its equivalent energy before any change is same as total of mass and equivalent form energy equivalent of mass after the change takes place, right? So this concludes our law of conservation of mass. Clear?